Ooh, there is so much to talk about with this team. There is just so much to see, so much to analyze, so much to enjoy. Welcome back to the Laurence McKenna channel, where today we're talking about Liverpool. We have a sponsor and we're going to hear from them, and then we're going to talk big Liverpool wins. I've got good news and bad. Your team have been scouting one of the best players on the planet, but suddenly their biggest rival have been tracking all the data and everything else that they've been doing online, and they can see all of the things they need to make the biggest transfer in your club's history, well, not a reality anymore. They could scupper everything just because they could track you online. How do you stop that? And even worse, how do you stop your January transfer rebuild being a disaster? Well, using a top-tier VPN online, like, say, Surfshark, could go a very long way to protecting them and you online. And not only that, but they could also get Netflix in other countries, meaning that something that was just previously a dream, like watching series that they never had access to before, is now very much a reality, along with that great January transfer. And not only that, Surfshark offer Surfshark ONE Suite. Let me tell you a little bit about it. It's a comprehensive set of tools for your digital life. It includes Alert, which tells you when your personal data has been compromised, Search for private ad-free browsing, and Antivirus for real-time protection against, well, viruses and malware. And finally, Alternative ID, which is great for additional privacy options. Don't miss out on this amazing opportunity to improve your VPN life. There are loads of offers on the site right now for this time of year, because it is a fantastic time of year for all digital people. And at the same time, if you are going to go there and do some VPN browsing, and of course, Surfshark ONE Suite browsing, and then don't forget to use the code LASK at checkout, or the link just down there in the description. You are helping a young channel, but you're also helping yourself at the same time. We appreciate everyone who clicks on the link down there in the description, and everyone who is a fan of Surfshark, because, well, I use it on a daily basis. And thanks a lot to Surfshark for showing the faith in the channel to sponsor us. We really appreciate it. Now, back to the video. Thank you so much to Surfshark for sponsoring the channel. If you guys appreciate what we do on this channel, if you're a Liverpool fan, if you're a fan of another team, I'd love for you to click the link in the description below. At least go and take a look at the VPN, because it really helps the channel, really helps you, and obviously it's good for long-term futures of VPNs online. Big thing, something I'm always concerned about. Liverpool, of course, have a good long-term future. They have at least 4, maybe 5-ish months until they have to worry about the Europa League again, because they finished top of their Europa League group. Now, a lot of people would say, well, it's the Europa League. You should be finishing top of this group. But for saying that there has been a loss in this group, even though you could say it could have been a draw, Liverpool went through the motions, blah, blah, blah. Liverpool finished top of the group thanks to a draw between Toulouse and USG. Liverpool went through a pretty easy game against LASK, although there's a lot to analyze, shape-wise, personnel-wise, individually, the fit, the shapes, the format, all sorts of things. There's a lot of excitement going on at the moment. Remember, in the last game against LASK, there was kind of an early period where it was like, hey, this team are actually all right. We're going punch for punch with them. They're going punch for punch with us. They clearly didn't respect Liverpool. They clearly thought that Liverpool were underestimating them, and they went for them. Liverpool in the end came away 3-1 winners. And so Klopp in this game, even though he played this second string side, even though there are a lot of people in this team where you go, hey, there's real quality there, it's still not peak Liverpool, although, come on. But I want to go through plenty of these performances, how the fit is, how the understanding of the moves and the formation is, how even though if you change the personnel, you can still keep some of the core principles of this Liverpool side, still get some of those guys still purring, and mix experience and youth all as one. First of all, let's talk about the goalkeeper. His first clean sheet of the tournament, and I think his first clean sheet of the season. Obviously, he hasn't played every game. He might get a little run in the side now. Still, might get a little run, just saying. Kevin Keller, good goalkeeper. I think a lot of people keep identifying a couple of Liverpool players who aren't like the best in the world as, oh, they're subpar. Which is kind of weird to say about this kid, because even when Liverpool were possibly going to sell him in the summer, when there were all these kind of big questions around the future of a couple of people in the side, people are like, well, he'll be expensive goalkeeper. Real quality, pulled off some great saves, kept Liverpool comfortable in the game, and at the same time gelled with that backline really well. I want to talk about a guy tonight as well. In fact, yeah, let's talk about that whole back line as a unit, first of all. Come here. Yeah. Before they made the substitutions, it was basically, and what I love about this is, it was a back two. Liverpool didn't really need to worry about defending in this game all that much. But when they did, it was so convenient, and you could see that Konate was just like, yep, cool, I'll deal with that. Don't worry about this one. And Jarell Quansah is just, I mean, I don't want to even do like a Virgil van Dijk 2.0 thing. I think in his own right, he is spotting danger. He is managing the space around him. He's still playing as the deepest lying player in this side as well. Not by much, but still playing as the deepest lying player. You see that line there sort of dictates that. And then it really allows people like Tsimikas to get on, who actually, I think he's had a couple of decent games he's put together now. He can put a little decent run together in this side because at least for another 4 or 5 weeks, probably 5, 6 weeks, Andy Robertson is out of this team. Tsimikas is kind of making this position his own at this point. I actually prefer him in this side with Ryan Gravenberch on this side and Luis Diaz, and probably a centre forward who links back to the other player. Like when they have Nunez on the field, I always feel like these two are slightly more, I don't know, they're almost like inverted a little bit more. So they go a little bit wider, a little bit more inverted, and suddenly you get these kind of different shapes, and it doesn't seem quite as defensively okay. Whereas when you've got like a Cody Gakpo on the field or someone like that, I feel like there's an assuredness about the team. And then I really want to highlight one guy tonight. I think Joe Gomez almost had a captain-esque like performance. Twinkle toes, so many different times where I thought, you're actually a better player than you're often given credit for, first of all. But secondly, you're also the kind of guy who you don't mind being an understudy for Trent, you don't mind being an understudy for Konate, or that, what, you know, some people call second string, whatever it is. You don't mind waiting in the wings. You're always a consistent character. Jurgen Klopp must love Joe Gomez. There were big question marks a couple of seasons ago when people went, oh, why are we re-signing him? You know, could he move on to another team? He could probably be playing in a first team top 4 competitor. Does he start for Aston Villa? I think he's certainly pushing other players in the side. Does he start for Brighton? I think he's probably one of those players who's very good at getting his studs on the top of the ball and kicking it around. So I actually think he's a decent enough player to start a lot of Premier League games. Don't forget, this is a guy who won a Premier League title for Liverpool. He's the only guy to have won a Premier League title playing alongside Virgil van Dijk at the back. So just put a little respect on his name. A couple of players within this side returning towards confidence. Not talking about form, I'm just talking about confidence. There is a system which protects them much better now. There's a much more obvious idea of what Joe Gomez is meant to do in this team. Look at him tucking in there alongside either Wataru Endo or Harvey Elliott, though Harvey Elliott was obviously a lot more progressed in this game. And along with that, I think that just a lot of people talk about Trent Alexander-Arnold as the only right back for Liverpool, and not rightly so, but probably rightly so in terms of just him being billed as the big time player, and he is. But Joe Gomez, when he gets into this team, is underappreciated. The use of space that he has, the partnerships that he has with A, the central defensive midfielder, the solidity that he has, B, the partnerships that he has with people like Salah and also Harvey Elliott, and then when other people made other substitutions in the side, you know where I'm going with this. Anyway, like when Trent was subbed in, he just seamlessly slotted in centre-back. Look, that's the other centre-back. And this is kind of what I've been talking about. I've been talking about it for a couple of weeks now, and it'll finish off my analysis of the back line. When Liverpool took out Konate, I know that overall that's like a match-long average position, so it'll only be pulled back a little bit. Liverpool really play one centre-back and one kind of central defensive midfielder that really either frees up the guy who's ahead of him, which is Trent, or allows someone like Wataru Endo to kind of venture and be a little bit more, I need to break up the play over here, I need to break up the play over here. You just keep pushing forward. It's a better use of space. It's basically like playing a 1-2-3-4. Oh, you just learned to count. Anyway, the point being, especially in this Liverpool team right now, I think a lot of people were very confused about the shape for a while. They sort of went, oh, they're trying to make that box again. This clearly isn't Liverpool trying to make a box. This is clearly Liverpool understanding the rotational positions and the roles within the midfield. Even further than that, you can say that Gravenberch, and I think particularly Harvey Elliott loved the ball this way, but also a little through, like there were 2 defenders tonight, maybe even 3, and he would do the little slip ball as Salah ran in behind on numerous occasions. Harvey Elliott is, when unleashed, a much better footballer than he's given him credit for when he has to play in a slightly more restricted role within a more defensive system, or within a system where the movement isn't quite, I mean, you know, maybe I'm just slagging off movement for no reason here. The point being, there was great movement from Salah, great movement from Hakpo tonight, and great movement from Diaz as well. I loved the Diaz opening header. It was so Sadio Mane. It was so old school Liverpool. It was so, there's your ball, there's your goal. The assist, and numerous times tonight, made the goal. There was a goal where Trent got an assist. There were really lovely moments that Liverpool just created, and all of their goals felt so Liverpool. Does that make sense? And even then, what's weird about that is it's like, I know the penalty and stuff. It was definitely a penalty, by the way. I know that the penalty is something that a lot of people are going, Mo Salah's getting towards 200 goals. They didn't want it to be a penalty. Well, it was 199. What are you worried about? He's moving up the list really nicely as well, really quickly. Anyway, the point being, and especially if you look at it, the difference between the subs here and this is a formation. I know that's more of a 2-4-4. It's actually more like a 2-2-3-3. But actually it's more like a 2-2-2-1-3. Actually, it's actually more like a 2-2-2-2-2. And I can show you the line, right? And it's really down to roles. Although it isn't, is it? 2, 2, 2, 2? No. 2, 2. But you go down the field, does that make sense? But you could also have said, if you would have said those two are attacking midfielders and those two are attacking strikers. But really, it's that, isn't it? And these little use of like tandem partnerships between each of these people back up each of the roles that these guys are trying to do. So obviously there's two backup centre backs, you always have that. Then you got the back up to the central defensive midfielder. Same over here, giving lots of backup, giving lots of support, always giving the passing option. Harvey giving the back up to Mo, sometimes going outside, sometimes going inside. Love that. Then this. Diaz and Hakpo, they kind of took up very similar areas. Diaz, when he plays alongside Hakpo, is so different to the way that he plays alongside Nunez. I love the way that these two kind of interchange with each other and the movement that Cody Hakpo shows. Earlier in the week, by the way, and for a number of different sides now, when he's played for the Dutch as well, he's played sort of here or here. So where Havenberg was playing or there, right? Klopp's done it. He loves his adaptability. I love his adaptability as well. It brings out the best in other players. It shows an element of the Firmino-esque player that we wanted to see and that we felt we were going to see. And it gives Liverpool a lot more convenient, a more convenient midfield shape. But what I really loved was when Klopp made some of those substitutions, it was like, how many people are in this midfield? Look, I even highlighted this, but this is such a key moment in the game. Bring on Curtis Jones, Trent, and Nunez, but it's the subs and who he takes off that is interesting here. Mohamed Salah, Konate, and Diaz. Changing the shape, not completely, but changing the shape quite a lot. Suddenly you've got Kwanzaa and Joe Gomez at centre-back. You've then got, I don't think he brought on Conor Bradley at that point. I don't think he brought on the other side as well. So they basically had a very packed midfield at that point with Endo, Jones, Trent, Gravenberch, and Harvey Elliott and Hakpo in behind someone like Darwin Nunez a little bit later on. Well, no, actually at the same time. So it's basically that Liverpool just went, right, we're not going to do the deep defending anymore. We're just going to defend much higher up the field. I've got a whole load of facilitators and playmakers, a whole load of people who just love to give and go. Suddenly we were seeing like a little give and go. It was so satisfying to watch and so satisfying to see that Liverpool have been given an element of freedom again and an understanding within a system. It's like, if we're moving in this fashion, which I kind of felt like we had a few years ago, but it still felt a lot more positional. This felt a lot more like, and it wasn't Fluminense at all, but it was a lot more relational than positional at this point in the game. And you could see that Klopp and Pep Lingers were kind of just playing around with it a little bit. The midfielders were kind of playing around with it a little bit. Trent was playing around with the ball. Everyone was just enjoying themselves. And it was clear that they felt very confident. It was clear that obviously they could do this at this position in the game. And they also had the players that if it did go wrong at any point, they need to lock things down. It was like, cool, we'll just sit back. Curtis Jones at this point, great feat. By the way, Joe Gomez, numerous times tonight, just shifts the ball away from a player. Curtis Jones did the same. Wataru Endo, by the way, the whole time facilitated both of these formations. So while everyone is complaining about him or saying like, oh, well, where's the top class performance? He facilitated this shape and this shape. Basically allowing like almost a back three at times, because this midfield shape is not really a midfield shape. It is a midfield shape, but it's like a midfield, not blob, timey-wimey. And this is actually a midfield shape. Although actually it's much more like that, isn't it? But it's actually much more like that, because that was more like that, and that was that. But you get my point. Like, these are two very different feelings, two very different formations, two very different ideas. And he was able to facilitate both. Why is that good? Because when you're bringing on different units for Liverpool this season, it's what you want. You want to be able to shift things up. You want to be able to go, hey, take something from over here, put something over here. We're going to suffocate you in the midfield, win it back. It actually lent itself a lot more to then LASK actually running through a lot more. Liverpool were a little bit more open at the back. But I think Klopp is kind of testing it. He's sort of going, how many can we slot into that midfield side? You know, we can rely on when we have Nunez up front and Hakpo just behind him as like a two, one playing off the other, and therefore we pack that area just behind and win it, just get it through to him. There was a weird moment, by the way, when like Curtis Jones and Nunez took it off each other's toes. It was a bit strange, but it worked. No, it didn't actually. It didn't work at all. But all of them sort of funneled the ball forward at that point, and they're all just going central, central, central. This is wider than this. You can almost draw it. Like, look, that is a red arrow. These are the red arrows. That is Banks. Which one? Lloyd. Not Lloyd's, Lloyd. I'm just saying. Anyway, it was satisfying to watch. Guarantees a little bit of something, and it puts Mo Salah just before 200 goals before the weekend. What can he do? It's exciting. I'm excited to see what Mo can do. I'm excited to see so many young players coming through. I'm excited to see that Harvey Elliott is coming into his own. I'm excited to see that so many of the midfield are coming in through him. But Harvey, Curtis, Ryan, even Cody Gakpo tonight. A number of decent to brilliant performances. Love to know what you guys think. Remember, we're building a Liverpool channel somewhere else. We're giving away these on them. If you're really interested in these, what we need to do is build a business with this channel and with the other channel where we can give away these because we get brand deals. So if you're interested in these, please click the Surfshark link if you haven't before. Please take a look at... That was a shirt falling off. Please take a look at that. Sign up if you can. I'm not saying you have to, but sign up if you can, and sign up if you do actually need a VPN. I'd be very appreciative if you do it through my link using my code and everything else. It's been really good to chat to you guys. Hope you've enjoyed yourselves, and I will see you again tomorrow on this channel for a podcast. Much love. See you later. Bye-bye.